As dawn breaks along the coast of Puerto Rico, the first signs of motion emerge on the horizon. Steel grey silhouettes of military vehicles breach the shoreline. It's not war, but it is a show of force, intentional, rehearsed and precise. This is the United States military conducting a large-scale amphibious training operation in the Caribbean. Vehicles roll onto the sand. Soldiers form disciplined lines. Above them, helicopters cut through the humid sky. It is all part of a joint forces simulation designed to test readiness, enhance coordination, and send a message. America's reach remains firmly anchored in the region. The drills are part of Operation Southern Sentinel, a US-led initiative to combat transnational drug trafficking, a problem that continues to plague the hemisphere. But more than just a counter-narcotic strategy, this is a geopolitical statement. Puerto Rico, though not a state, is central to the United States' southern defense strategy. Its strategic location between the Atlantic and the Caribbean makes it a forward operating base for everything from humanitarian missions to high-level security operations. In recent years, US defense officials have grown increasingly concerned about the southern approaches, routes used not just by drug cartels, but also by illegal arms dealers, human traffickers, and potentially foreign adversaries testing American resolve in the region. In this latest exercise, armoured Humvees navigate beachheads, soldiers establish defensive positions, and aerial units simulate extraction and deployment procedures, all under the close scrutiny of military observers and allied partners. While this footage lasts just minutes, the operation it captures took months to plan, with dozens of units involved across land, sea and air. The complexity reflects the evolving challenges of regional security. Historically, the Caribbean has been a hotspot for smuggling and illicit trade, but in recent years, organised crime networks have become increasingly sophisticated, adopting encrypted communications, using semi-submersibles, and exploiting legal loopholes in vulnerable coastal states. The US response has been multifaceted: increased surveillance, more aggressive interdiction efforts, and closer partnerships with regional governments. But most visible of all are the boots on the ground, operations like this one, aimed at deterring illegal activity through a clear and overwhelming show of capability. These drills simulate worst-case scenarios, everything from natural disasters requiring humanitarian relief to the coordinated dismantling of a cartel stronghold. In all cases, speed, discipline and integration are key. Military commanders say training in Puerto Rico offers the advantage of realistic terrain, jungle, coastlines and urban zones, all within US jurisdiction. It allows for high-stakes preparation without crossing international lines. But the presence of the US military in Puerto Rico isn't without controversy. Some local activists argue that these operations contribute to the militarization of the island and represent a continuation of colonial power structures. Still, for many residents, the military brings jobs, disaster response capacity, and a sense of security. In 2017, after Hurricane Maria devastated the island, it was US troops who restored supply chains and reopened hospitals when civilian systems collapsed. Now, nearly a decade later, the focus has shifted back to security with renewed urgency. Intelligence reports from 2025 show a surge in drug trafficking routes, shifting toward the Eastern Caribbean, where enforcement is weaker and detection more difficult. This is where Puerto Rico becomes critical, not only as a base of operations, but as a surveillance hub. High-altitude drones and satellite links allow US Southern Command to monitor vast swathes of ocean, track suspicious vessels, and intercept contraband before it reaches the mainland. Training exercises such as this one reinforce that network, integrating real-time communications, ground logistics, and air mobility. And when conducted publicly, as in this case, they serve a second purpose: strategic messaging. That message is directed not just at drug lords or smugglers. It's also meant for state actors, those who might seek to expand influence in the Americas through soft power, economic dependency, or covert operations. The US military is watching, and it is prepared. Commanders involved in the exercise point out that most missions today are not traditional warfare, but rather hybrid responses. Soldiers are expected to engage with civilians, liaise with law enforcement, and even assist in climate disaster zones. The modern battlefield, they say, is fluid, and so are the missions. A soldier trained in amphibious assault today could be delivering food and water to hurricane survivors tomorrow. Back on the shoreline, the final units retreat, leaving behind only tire tracks and the distant hum of a helicopter. It's a controlled conclusion to a chaotic simulation, but the real world isn't so neatly managed. The United States continues to face pressure on all fronts, from rising authoritarianism globally to increased competition in the Arctic and Pacific, and closer to home, the persistent instability in Latin America. What happens in the Caribbean matters. It matters to trade, it matters to migration, and it matters to national security. That's why these exercises are being prioritized, and that's why they're becoming more frequent. For military analysts, this show of force signals a broader trend, the recalibration of US defense posture to focus on regional spheres of influence while maintaining global deterrence. And for the people of Puerto Rico, this drill is just the latest chapter in a long and complicated relationship with Washington, one that continues to evolve, shaped by history, geography, and the changing tides of global power.